right? I've actually made some steak today. You know, what I've done, I actually marinated the steak last night. I marinated it with some Worcestershire sauce, garlic, salt, pepper, and I used it on my grill pan today. So I'm just going to whiz over to the oven right now. As you see, my grill pan is all ready to go, and I'm going to place the steak on there. Okay, so just. So
I heard that. Yep.
Yeah, you heard it. So we're going to leave that. We're going to leave that cooking. And we're gonna make a chimichurri sauce with it. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but I'm gonna try.
That sounds great. Yeah.
So this is to go with the steak. Okay, so we have some olive oil. I'll put all the ingredients up later online when I post my recipe. If it's not today, it's usually tomorrow. We're gonna use 2 teaspoons of oregano. One. Well, actually, I'm not gonna quite use 2. I'm gonna cut it down a little bit. We use some salt. A little bit of salt. Some fresh ground black pepper. And as you know, I always prep my garlic at the beginning of the week. It makes cooking so much easier. I'm gonna, it says like 4 or 5 cloves, so give it a couple of teaspoons, 2.5 teaspoons of that. You can always add. And then some fresh cut up parsley. We're gonna put that in.
And this is stems and all, not just the leaves, the whole thing. Yep.
Yep. I took off the super thick stems, but I didn't go crazy because I knew I was gonna blend it.
Yeah. Also, in case if you think you don't love garlic as much, because it is a garlicky sauce, you can also substitute garlic with shallots. Shallots are great. Also, version. It's kind of like it gives more like an onion flavor.
And also some red wine vinegar. Okay, so we're going to stick that in there. It's going to cause a little bit of noise. I have to get the thing on straight. Not working my way today. Give that a quick blend. Might need a little bit more parsley in that. Just blend it down a little bit. So we're gonna put it in a little container, little jug here for our steak. Okay, and what I did this morning with all them fresh, beautiful vegetables that we got yesterday, I actually made some scalloped potatoes and squash that we got, some green tomatoes, a little bit of red onion. There's even beets in there. I made a vegetarian in case you don't eat meat. Okay, whatever I had in the fridge. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to drizzle a little bit of this chimichurri sauce over the salad. And that is your dish of today. You can see the scalloped potatoes, sauteed a bunch of vegetables that we had. We got some zucchinis yesterday. We had some squash. I had mushrooms, so I used mushrooms. And you can always add as much as that as you would like to your salad. The good thing about salad, you can put anything you like in it and anything you don't. If you don't want it, you don't have to put it. The water of the week is raspberries and blueberries. So we've got some raspberry water. It's really important to keep hydrated. It makes you feel really tired when you're not hydrated. So please make sure you drink plenty of water. I'm going to whisk it back over to the steak. Usually
well, she
takes
does
about,
that. Remember, I was just mentioning because we forgot. Serving sizes of about 2 or 3 ounces of meat. That's what's best recommendation. Use it as a flavoring agent, not as the main dish, as the main ingredient for your meal. And that's why this salad is so great, because it's just once Sam's done it, that you can slice it in small thin amounts and then serve yourself a lot of all those veggies, the potatoes, the zucchini, the squash, and then the greens, and on top of it a couple of slices of the meat. And you stretch it, it goes a long way for everyone, or you can eat it over several days.
so I'm just going to show you briefly the steak. It's cooked on one side already, so I'm just going to let that finish up. And I will let JP do his thing. Thank you, guys.
Great. Well, that looks really delicious. So hope you can do that one too. That sauce, you can also, by the way, the chimichurri sauce, you can put it in the refrigerator in a container and keep it for in the refrigerator for a couple of like a week or even 2 weeks. It's fine in a closed container. Okay. So on that side now, we're gonna do, I know that some of the beautiful produce bags you got some carrots, beautiful carrots. So I'm gonna show you how to do, this is a whole meal too, it's a whole entire meal. It's a carrot soup, and we're gonna show you how to just add things. And another thing we're gonna show you is how to make ginger oil. So this is a flavoring oil, and we'll talk about it as we make it. But we're gonna actually season this soup with this ginger oil at the end. Okay, same thing with this, almost a little bit like the chimichurri, but it actually stays longer, like a couple of, like even up to 3 weeks in the refrigerator covered, because and it's really flavorful. You can use it for many things. First things first, let me show you. We're gonna show you. I have one extra vegetable. Not sure if you're familiar with it. It's a root vegetable. It's this one here. Just move it. I don't know if you can recognize it. It's called jicama. It's a root vegetable. It's originally from Mexico. It's nice and crunchy, looks like that. Sometimes it looks a little bit unwieldy. Don't worry. You have 2 options. Make it simple. Use your peeler and start peeling until it's nice and very clear. Or you could just use your knife. I like, as any like round vegetable, I like to first, like, it is a little hard, so you have to be careful. Cut the bottom part and then the top part, just like that. And then now you have a firmer base, and now you can start cutting around it with a sharp knife. Just like that. It should be, once you cut it, actually, this is a good example. Once you cut it, it should be nice, wide, not bruised. If it starts getting old, it starts becoming a little bit brown. You find them now a lot more often in delis around. You can see that in Mexican delis, or like places where you can get some vegetables. You'll definitely find that. So if you see, you can peel it this way, and that's it. You eat this raw. So actually, this is a good example. On this side, it's a little bit brown, so I will just cut that part out. And I'm going to show you quickly. So I'll cut, actually, I can start using half of it. So if you see this part, that's not good, but that's okay. You could just cut that bottom part, see, until it's nice, and then the rest you can discard. So anyway, once you have it like that, then I love it just doing sticks like this. And then I will put some lemon juice, salt and pepper, sometimes chili powder, because I love spicy. But you can do it like that. So the other option you can do is dice it in like little squares. So you eat them raw, just like that. But if you want it, you can use them for stir fries. Okay, so that's also great. And the other thing I want to show you is, this is, you've got a couple of pears. I think you got Bartlett pears. I don't know if you got, what's the other one? But this is an Asian pear. If you've never seen them, I find it actually is a little similar to the jicama in flavor. This is a little sweeter. This is a little more like crunchy and less sweet, but they're great. So actually, sometimes I dice both of these and make, and I'll show you like that, salad with like just dice like that. This is the jicama. These are the Asian pear. I put a little bit of lemon, salt and pepper, and this is a great snack really low in calories, nice with good with fiber. So I encourage you to do that. Okay, so that was for the jicama. Now I'm gonna start with the soup, and this is a very simple recipe. So we have you have beautiful carrots, so use those. I have these ones, you know, in those little bags that you sometimes get, and sometimes you don't get to eat all of them. So just go ahead and dice. This is going to be a pureed soup. If you don't like pureeing, by all means have it chunky, don't puree it. But I like it, and you'll see why in terms of the presentation. In here I have my pot, and I put just water in it. And I'm gonna just add the ingredients as I dice them and then bring them to a simmer. So here's my carrots. The other ingredients I'm gonna add is, I have celery ribs that you can put. I love celery, and they just, in soups, I love them, the amount of flavor they give.
Yeah, it's one of the best base. I love celery too. It's one of the best bases in soups.
So, and because we're gonna puree them, this, you don't have to go and do them in really, you know, bite-sized pieces. Remember, just think ahead. If you're pureeing it, you don't have to cut them really small. Let me just add them in there. Same thing with the other ingredient is regular onion. So, and remember, one of the great things from soups is like all the nutrients, all of them stay in the liquid. So you don't lose anything. So peel your onion. I'm gonna put more carrots in it, but you get the idea. Other key ingredients in the soup, always in, I don't know about you, but always in the soup, I add bay leaf. Bay leaf, you can have it dry, you can have it fresh, but they give really a lot of flavor. This is the only thing that before we blend, we're gonna remove, because this is kind of like a little harsh. So anyway, so remember how we slice our onion very small and go like this and across? Well, not for this. This you can actually just go like that in larger pieces. So I like, sometimes, you know, you're not in the mood to do like very meticulous dice. This is a great recipe for just quick dicing, okay? So in goes my onion. And I can put a little bit more of this. So the other ingredient I wanted to do, and you have it in your bags, I understand, you got beautiful apples. So now this is a different, it's just a little bit that we're not used to put apples in soup, are we? At least I didn't used to. This is a green apple, but you can use any apple you want. And again, these are gonna blend it. Let me put the carrots in there. And so I'm gonna go with the peel on. I'm not gonna peel it. I'm just gonna quarter it, just like that, quarter. If you can see, cut it in quarters. Then with a knife a little to the side, I just remove the inner core like that. Same thing with this, just like that. And then dice it. Again, do not need to dice it really small. You can snack with a little bit of these as you eat. Also, this apple, you see, it starts a little bit, it was getting a little bit, I had to eat it. So it's like, this is the perfect recipe to use a little bit, like if you don't throw them away, they're not good enough to eat raw because they're just trying to get, if you see a little bit of brown, it's okay. This is perfect for the soup. What this does is also going to provide a little bit of extra sweetness for the recipe. And so if you see our recipe here, our soup is all in, and I'm going to just turn it on, bring it to a simmer, light simmer. Once it starts to simmer, 20 minutes maybe, as it simmers, uncover, don't cover it, just let it reduce a little bit. Once that is done, you're going to just get it in batches and blend it really well to get a puree. And we actually have one that I did earlier, which is right here.
How beautiful.
Yeah, look at those beautiful color. It's nice and warm. So see the thickness of it? You can see it. So you can adjust the water, less water, a little bit more. But believe me, with the carrots, it definitely gets this natural thickness to it. Okay. So now, before we show how to serve this, I'm going to quickly show you how to do the ginger oil. So you're going to get, I have a neutral oil in here. So this is a big amount. This is 1 cup of oil, okay? 1 cup. I'm using vegetable oil. This is the safflower oil. You see it there. You can use canola oil. That's all good. And then, of course, ginger. And you have plenty of ginger. So look at this. It's kind of like a big finger of ginger. I call it fingers. Like, so you can even do another one. So grab a peeler and peel it. You know, sometimes you have to peel a little nubs there off. That's okay. You can peel as best you can. Remember to always give a little good scrub for your ginger. If you don't have it, it's encouraged to have, there's sometimes these little food grade brushes, veggie brushes, which are absolutely great for washing your veggies. So see how this little part, you can actually flatten it with your knife and then clean it, okay? So, of course, ginger has a lot of also antioxidants. You can have it in tea, as we've shown before here. Anyway, so now what you're gonna do is slice it. You do wanna keep it, see how this little part you can remove if it's a little knob there. You don't want to, you're gonna use the blender. So you don't have to chop it really fine, but you wanna help the blender, especially if you don't have one of those like high power blenders, or even like that one that Sam makes for smoothies, that one will work well. So you wanna give it a little help for it. So just chop it a little bit more, okay? So this is it's gonna be a very flavorful oil. A little goes a long way for it, okay? So here we go, now just about this much. Now we're gonna go. I have my blender here. So I'm just gonna go and place all my ginger in it. And this is where you may need a little more oil or a little less oil. Just, I would start with at least half a cup of the oil. Just put it in there. You can add the other one. We can drizzle a little bit the other one. So the key is you're basically going to what we call is liquefying the ginger in the oil. That's what's going to provide a lot of the flavor in it. So it's going to be noisy here. I'm going to start it. I'm going to add the rest of it, the other half. And now, so I want you to see the oil, how it's now, it's almost has this thick consistency. That's all the ginger pureed in it. You can do it, you can turn if you don't have a high-speed blender, turn it off, let it be a little bit, then turn it back on again. But see how it changed colors from very translucent to the flavor. So that's going to be a lot of flavor. Again, I said a little goes a long way. So now I'm going to show you how to serve it. So this is a full meal. This is what's going to be here. So I have my bowl. I have some brown rice I cooked earlier. Actually, I had it with a little bit of zucchini in it. So summer squash, if you see it. So I'm going to have that in. I also have a little bit of tofu. This is firm tofu. Can be just a little goes a long way. These are all, the tofu is just from the refrigerator. This is a little warm already. So I'm going to just put it in there. And then my hot soup, I'm just gonna drizzle it. You see this consistency? So if you see, this soup has no fat. It was the stock, then all the vegetables. And so then we can just drizzle a little bit of soup all around it. So this is gonna be like it's a full meal. So cover it like that. And what I like to do is a little bit of, because if you think with the ginger, it's a little bit of like Asian flavors. I have a little bit of cilantro in it. So I'm just gonna rough chop the cilantro. And then with a spoon, before I put the cilantro goes last. And this doesn't have to be very roughly chopped. With a small spoon, you're gonna grab this oil. See that consistency? Also, when you store it, this will like settle down in the bottom. It's okay. So you could then just shake it and then, or you can just use the top part. If you want with a little bit of the extra ginger flavor, you can use it for like the stir fries that I was saying. So just go ahead like that, just a little bit, and drizzle it on the soup like that. Okay. And then you can just put your cilantro. And that's it. This is how, so quick nutrition tip for the soup. Of course, the number one thing you need to consider is that it's vitamin A, that in carrots is called carotenoids. Basically, your body turns carotenoids into vitamin A. We store it, it's what it's called a fat soluble vitamin. So it stores in fatty tissues like liver, so that's where you have it. And the good thing is you do not need to eat it every day because it's stored in your liver. So our bodies are amazing and they know what they're doing. So they keep storage, especially for fat soluble vitamins like A. It helps you with your, I hope everyone knows this. It helps promote good vision. It keeps your healthy skin and also healthy tissues in the body. At the end of the day, inside of your body, we have skin. It's not skin, it's just tissues. But skin is tissue. It's good for reproduction. For pregnant women, it's really important to have that. And also it helps rebuild your bones. It actually breaks down bones, but our bodies are all the time making new bone and replacing bone within our bodies. So this one helps you break down bone so that new bone is made. So it's part of that mechanism. And also it's very good for immunity. You can have too much of this what they call it toxicity. It can become toxic, but this is mostly due to added vitamins or supplements. So remember, and I've mentioned this before, if you have vitamins, if you're taking vitamins just because you think it's a good thing, you have to, that vitamins are good supplements when the doctor tells you to take them. Do not self-medicate vitamins yourself. Not a good idea, because this is one of the examples. Toxicity could be bad. Where do we find this one already? We talked about it. Carrots. A good source is sweet potatoes. I know you have sweet potatoes too in your bag, so also you can use those. By all means, add a sweet potato in the soup and blend it. That's also could be added. Also cantaloupe melons. So if you see a trend here, deep orange vegetables are or fruits, deep orange in color, are good, but also dark green leafy greens. Broccoli has a big source of it. The other one thing that has a lot of vitamin A is beef liver, because remember I just told you that we store it in the liver. Well, the cows will also store it in their liver. Now, because liver has a lot of fat and a lot of cholesterol and very high in calories, I don't recommend to have like liver because of that. So careful with those people that are saying, oh, you just need to eat some liver to get more vitamin A. No, you can do it the way we just showed you, okay?
Alcohol in red wine vinegar, I believe there is, correct?
So there's a small amount in any wine vinegars. They actually have very reduced amount, but yes, if you're trying to eliminate and have none of that, I recommend instead to use other kinds like apple cider vinegar instead, or rice vinegar, not rice wine vinegar, but there are other vinegars that you can do, but it's a very small amount.
What you store
ginger oil.
Oil?
Yes, so you would put it in, you can do it in like, those deli containers. Let me see if I have one around here. Well, this is big. Ideally, you will do it in a, let me show you, like a glass container, like, oh, yes, yeah, just like this.
Yeah, I have the same thing.
Yeah, like a Pyrex thing with a plastic lid. You just put it in there and in the refrigerator. That will stay pretty good. The ginger oil will last longer than the chimichurri, because remember the chimichurri has the fresh herbs, and those do tend to get a little bit more stale or like brown. and oxidized. Not this one. This one actually can save as long as you have it in a container. I recommend glass for storage all the time. It can be a plastic lid, but tightly sealed. That's how you seal it. Save it in the refrigerator always. Question whether the tofu has been cooked. No, this tofu that I use. You can use any firm, soft. I like soft tofu in soups, but this is from the container. You open it, you rinse it, and then you dice it directly. It'll be, you're putting it in the hot soup, so I think that just warms it up lightly. If you want it even more warmer, you could put the tofu in the soup as you heat it up, or to let it heat up a little bit. And the rice was preheated already, done, and you can reheat it in the microwave or in another pan. Whether the ginger oil makes the soup spicy? A little bit, yes. Also, if you don't want to do the ginger oil, you can put ginger in the soup a little bit, just rough chop the same thing and cook it, and then you blend it, and you don't have to do the ginger oil. But if you have the ginger oil, yes, like ginger, if you ever had raw ginger or a ginger tea, it gives that little warmth and spice to your throat. I love it in the winter and cold weather. But yeah, it makes it a little spicy. Not the spiciness of chilies. It's a different kind of spice, but it will be, if you're not used to that little bit of spiciness, just add a little bit. I always say a little goes a long way for this one.
Okay, so that's it. I think we're good.
Great. Okay, well, I hope everyone does this recipes. Post the pictures in our Facebook page, please. Thank you for
we love to see
watching.
All right, take care, everyone. We'll see everyone next week. Take care. Bye.
Bye, everyone.